Hi there. Why your monsters and nightmares are about to be revealed in your reality in 2025. We are about to start seeing the physical manifestation of the spiritual and emotional darkness that we all hold in our subconscious. Now, this process has already begun, and if you take a zoom out on the world, you can certainly validate that in a number of different ways. But the top of that mountain will really come into view toward the back end of 2025. We just have so many major outer planets moving signs, changing energies. So that means that we will be offered these opportunities to make deep changes within our own individual psyches that will have the ability to roll out some pretty amazing collective change. The parts of our inner self that decides how and what rules we should follow to feel at peace will be empowered to undergo transformation. We have 4 major planetary shifts this year, as well as the lunar nodes moving. This amount of change is very significant to not only the individual growth, but also the collective growth. Let's talk about why this is not only significant, but something that is very rare. The lunar nodes change their focus every 18 months. This offers indicators of the direction of our evolution, both collectively and individually, to where we are coming from, to where we are heading. And it offers us new ways to see lessons from the past and see our most aligned path, where we want to be going, where we should be going. We will experience eclipses in this energy that we haven't seen since June 2006 to December 2007. So if you look back over that time, those same kind of themes and energies are coming back around for us to have another chance at, to use in a different, more evolved way. So let's talk a little bit more about the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo, which is going to settle in on January 11th, 2025. And it's going to stay there until August 16, 2026. So this is bringing spiritual empowerment, spiritual gifts, and also physical rewards or lessons from doing or not doing your inner work. The Pisces Virgo nodal cycle, it puts a focus on healing. Everywhere from your energetic body, your emotional body, your physical body. And it really does want to dissolve illusionary boundaries. And under the magic of this North Node in Pisces, we will definitely be invited to discover new dimensions of the human experience. And especially the masculine energy run people, the logical run people, those people will be experiencing some major shifts around the times of these eclipse energies because that's the purpose of them, to put us on our path. And right now, that path is very much about spiritual awareness. So the South Node, which will be in Virgo, the other side of that Pisces axis, is going to challenge us to live in greater attunement with Mother Earth, with Gaia, with the land and everything that is physical. And it's going to ask us to remove, micromanagement and being overly critical of things and being a bit nitpicky. And it's really going to ask us to find out what mindfulness means to us. And it will want us to embrace a more heart-centered and holistic way of living. So that is one of the major things, and that is about to roll in. So the next one I want to look at is Jupiter. So Jupiter spends about a year in one energy. This is the part of our psyche that offers expansion, abundance, perspective. It is where we seek truth and where we might focus on wealth and status. The last time we had this energy was 2013 to 2014. So the themes and ideas that were coming up around that time are going to be represented to us in a different form for us to use in a slightly different way. So let's talk about this Jupiter moving to Cancer, which will be June 9 until June 29 next year. And it's bringing with it emotional healing, inner child nurturing, finding safety within, and finding belonging, and finding a way to grow our inner circle and family. Now, our expansion, this Jupiter energy has been in the mind while Jupiter was in Gemini. And when it moves into Cancer, it's going to move from the mind into the body and from thought into a feeling. And we have been given many opportunities during Jupiter's transit in Gemini to connect to our inner feelings. And this will be where those that have achieved that have been working on it, will receive a lot of good luck for the risks that they take. And really, you will be able to take more risks that will work out. Jupiter energy expands everything that it touches. It is the part of our psyche that gets excited and grows very quickly. And when it is in a Cancer energy, which is that nurturing mother energy, that is what is expanding. So if you have not healed the mother wound or looked at the mother wound, that wound will expand too. And you will be asked to really learn how to nurture your inner child, to really learn how to find safety and belonging within yourself. This transit will offer us many opportunities to expand our idea of family, to change and shift what we see as family and how family dynamics work. Saturn. Now, Saturn takes about 2.5 years to change its energetic focus. Now, this offers us new energy to learn from the school of life, the school of hard knocks. This is the part of our psyche that really does represent things like the practical world, limitation, boundaries, authority. It is about where we want to build things, build legacy, have responsibility, and move in a grounded action kind of way. Now, we haven't had this energy since 1998 to 1999. Let's talk about Saturn in Aries, which is taking place May 24 until September 1st. This is a little preview because then we get a little retrograde. So this little taste of Saturn, the master of time, the giver of karmic lessons, moving is going to really be moving into the planet of war, right? So it's going to retrograde back into Pisces from September 1 until Feb 2026. And that's just to make sure you've learned the Pisces lesson that we were supposed to learn while Saturn was transiting there. And if you have been having your Saturn return, you can expect a little break from that chaos from May until September, where you will really be given an opportunity to practice the new version of yourself that you have been growing over the past 2 years. And then you're going to drop back into a final evaluation when we get that retrograde back into Pisces. And that'll be until February 2026, so September to February 2026. And you sort of will be able to make any final alterations, anything that didn't quite work out, things that you thought you wanted to be, you've tried them out and now they don't work out. And you're going to be asked really to step into self-mastery, expressing yourself, and really being courageously intentional about how you show up. Now, for the rest of us not in our Saturn return, we are also being given a chance to look at how we become the master of our own energy, how we become the authority of our own lives and the director of our own creativity. This is Saturn energy. So this is karmic lesson energy. And the other side of it is the fiery karmic backhand. For anyone who has been avoiding self-responsibility, avoiding inner healing, and allowing shame and fear to stop them from showing up as themselves. Now, Big Daddy Karma, which is another way that I like to name Saturn in our psyche, he's going to be wielding a big stick. And that stick is going to be made from fire. And when it hits you with that fiery Aries energy, which is an instigation energy, which is just the beginning. And it is the beginning. Once we move completely in February 2026, this is the beginning of a new 30-year cycle. So while Daddy Karma is writing your list of lessons, my advice is to make sure that you are showing up as the truest version of yourself. And really, you show that teacher, Mr. Daddy Karma Saturn, that you have learned your Pisces lessons, lest you be given them all over again. If you have a Saturn in Aries, my friends, you are getting a preview of your Saturn return. And I highly advise you to get a natal chart reading so that you can understand the map of your psyche. Next up, Uranus. Now, Uranus spends 7 to 8 years in one energy focus. And this is the part of our psyche where we have lightning transformations, bursts of insight, and moments of realization. And it is where we keep our spirit of revolution. It is very intimately related to the mind, communication, learning, information, and your mental processing. And when this energy focus shifts in our psyche, it really does offer completely new ways of thinking and communicating. And we have not seen this energy since 1949. So let's talk a little bit about when Uranus jumps into Gemini for a little taster, a little preview before it settles on in. So that will happen between July 7 and November 7. And I am calling this transit will be the ultimate disruptor of 2025. And this little preview, this little taste, it's really going to show us what to expect when Uranus officially moves, because he's going to retrograde back into Taurus from November until April 2026. And then he's going to settle there for 6 years of chaos and revolution. Now, Uranus in our psyche and in the collective psyche is the portal, is the doorway through which the future arrives to us. And its purpose is to collapse old structures and rules so that we have the space and the courage to plant new seeds. And the one thing that it really wants is freedom and liberation. Now, Gemini energy is very chaotic. It moves very quickly. It does not like to stop and smell the roses. And it does not like to really look around and see the effect that it's having on others. It's always looking for a new thing, new information, and it just keeps rolling forward with very little regard. Very little regard to what's being left behind, to what's being overrun, and to how it's affecting people. So the planet of chaos, the part of our psyche that brings lightning change, is moving into a very fast information gathering, chaos bringing energy. So good luck, everybody, with that, the disruptor of 2025. Next up, Neptune. Now, Neptune is a big one, an outer planet. It takes 13 to 15 years to change its focus. And when it does, it brings change to the part of our psyche that rules over how we process ancestral and childhood trauma, where we sacrifice our needs for others' people's. And it really looks at things within our spiritual and emotional self and our connection that we have to the sacredness of our own personal passions. Now, this movement, because it's a big one, it always marks a generational shift and it always brings with it a new era. And we haven't seen this energy since 1861. So, of course, we have just had Pluto move in the last few months, and that is a 20-year cycle. And that is the part of our psyche that is our subconscious underworld and the things that we hide in our shadows. It's our underlying power and fear. It's secrets and trust, and it is feeling trapped, and it is how we evolve through life's toughest lessons. And that Pluto energy, it hasn't been seen since 1798. So those major changes, major shifts, especially the ones that are moving out of Pisces, finishing up hundreds of years of energetic evolution, giving us a new chance to use those energies, they are going to bring with it the chaos of collective change. There are a couple of other smaller transits worth mentioning, one being Venus retrograde, which only happens every 2 years. So Venus will retrograde in Aries and also in Pisces. Now, we didn't get a Venus retrograde in 2024, so this one is going to be heavy. Our core wounds, our karmic lessons, and our future self will be being activated very heavily by this retrograde. And it will be truly asking us to look at relationships that uphold the wounds of the past and that stop us from learning the lessons we need to see, because we are being held back from our truest potential if we're doing that. And if you have been avoiding a hard conversation with someone, you will be forced into it. And if you have been avoiding looking at trauma from relationships, you will be forced into looking at that as well. We'll also, during this retrograde, really be looking at relationships in a way that it's kind of a projection screen of everything that's going on around us. And hopefully you're in a supportive and aligned relationship with people, because this retrograde, part of it is taking place inside of an eclipse window, meaning expect the unexpected. Expect the truth to force its damn way out, and expect your inner child to throw a tantrum if you don't listen. And be very aware of your tendencies to escape. Be very aware of your addictions and your obsessions and how they are triggered by relationships, because that will be one of the pathways that you will be shown that a relationship is unaligned if you are refusing to look at it. Anywhere that you would rather choose to be the victim rather than face a problem, that is going to bring a little bit of forced inner awareness and responsibility. So this is going to happen March 1 to April 12, and really asking for inner healing in your self-worth, in relationships, in your desires. Really asking you to connect with your divine inner self and making sure that the people and relationships around you are aligned with that person. The other thing worth mentioning is the Cancer full moon on the 14th of January. Now, we haven't had a Cancer full moon since Boxing Day 2023. Now, this is going to call back to all of the ways that you need to be nurtured from the chaotic events that happened in the double Capricorn full moon in June, July 2024. We're going to also have a planetary lineup. Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune will all line up in our skies on the 25th of January. Now, this is a milestone, really, of productivity, of success, and of really personal transformation. Individual and collectively, how we have transformed. It aligns the parts of our psyche that rules relationships, partnerships, motivation, drive, expansion, risk, rules and rewards of hard work, evolution and sudden change, dreams and the past traumas. And it will allow us to see these things and how they're related to each other. And it will give us some clarity, and it will give us a really clear look at our desires, at our most aligned pathways to success and peace. And it will also, if you've got a telescope, look really incredible in the sky. So around the 25th of January, go look up, see what you can see. Now let's also go over some key dates. So if you are someone who's got a little journal, get that out. This is the point where you want to start taking some notes, okay? So some major things that we need to keep an eye out for in 2025. The bringers of chaos, if you like, the markers of change. Now, January 6th, already passed, we had Mars retrograde in Leo move back into Cancer. I've made a video about that on TikTok if you want to go find it. January 11th will be the next significant one. That is the official move of the Lunar Nodes into Pisces and Virgo, releasing all Libras and Aries from that journey. January 21 is the Pluto cazimi in Aquarius. Now, what is a cazimi? Well, it is when another planet becomes very close to the sun. And in astrology, we say that that means the light of the sun is trying to show us something. It's shining its torch, right? So this one is a transformation opportunity. The sun is going to pierce that big torchlight through our underworld, our subconscious fears. And it's going to show us the unconscious depths, insights, desires, fears, power dynamics, emotions, all of those things. It's going to light those up. And these things are being revealed so that we might see how we can use that for fuel, for empowerment, for reclaiming the self, right? And if you haven't addressed fears relating to where you hold yourself back, this energy could be a really overwhelming time. This will be about 6 days of the height of this. So 3 days before, 3 days after the 21st of January. After that, the next one worth mentioning, February 9. Now that's the Mercury cazimi in Aquarius. Now Mercury is going to have a few of these cazimis, so let's talk about this one. This will be collected messages, whispers, insights, information, and all of these things coming together. all of these things being in the spotlight of our awareness. And it will really help us access new insights, new inspiration, ideas, wisdom, and there will be a clarity of the mind like we haven't had for a very long time, especially with all of the Pisces and the Neptune haze that we have been dealing with. March 12th, 2025, the Saturn cazimi in Pisces. Now this one, it's kind of inviting consciousness, commitment, and commitment toward our dreams and visions, toward our sacred responsibilities, and toward our long-term projects and our visions. I am tagging this day Karma Day as well, because Saturn has been teaching us lessons about how our inner authority should be able to go with the flow of our authentic spirit. And if you have not been doing that, or you have been interrupting someone else's attempt to do that, the sun is going to flag you as deserving of a lesson. It's going to do that if you are deserving of a reward as well. But yeah, Karma Day, my friends. March 13, 2025, the first total lunar eclipse in Virgo for the new nodal axis. So welcome to the feelings you have tried not to experience because they are messy. Now, this eclipse is going to be super hard on things like self-criticism, perfectionist ideals, and anywhere you kind of felt that no one shows up for you, where you give more, right? Where you put in more work and you don't get it back. So this will be the first appearance, really, of the monsters in the shadow of our spiritual and emotional spaces. So you can expect some big, unexpected things, right? Eclipses being fated, we can know when they're coming, but unexpected in what they bring. But we know that they do bring big shifts, big changes. So the things that we have been working on or not working on in that spiritual place, in that emotional space, those things are going to take some physical forms. Next up, March 22, 2025, the Venus cazimi in Aries. This is the sun shining its big, bright, I am Aries light into your relationships. It's going to give you confidence to be yourself. It's going to show you if you are ready to start a new relationship or bring some fresh energy into a current one. It will help you do that. And you will definitely feel compelled to tell any unaligned relationships where to go. March 24, 2025, the Mercury cazimi in Aries. Now this is insights, and this is insights really coming forward and asking for your awareness, and they will be deeply intimate and very influential in your personal lives, these insights that come forward on this day. This is the closest Mercury will ever get to the Earth, and therefore to you as a person. And on this day, we really will have such a beautiful access to our own personal oracle, to our own voice of the universe, to our own inner being, inner child, to the spirit of the overall cosmos. We will really be connected to what our own inner God has to say to us. March 27, 2025, this one, the Venus retrograde entering Pisces. So this is really going to show you what needs to be resolved in relationships. If you have past traumas you haven't addressed, relationships of the past where you were tricked, manipulated, put under an illusion, you're going to see it. You're going to see how that leaches into your current relationships, and you're going to try and either integrate it or fight it. I wouldn't advise fighting it because it is very close to what is coming next. March 29, the partial solar eclipse in Aries, the final eclipse in Aries, the final eclipse of the Aries Libra nodes. So this is the culmination of the lessons that you have learned over the last 2 years. The last 2 years of removing people, most likely. And these people, energy vampires, emotional vampires, these sorts of people, unbalanced relationship sorts of people. We are culminating that. We are seeing who we are outside of that, and we are seeing who we need to be to show up for ourselves in a relationship. Also on March 29, Mercury retrograde enters Pisces. And I just want to put out a little addiction warning for that one. Okay. That's mind fuckery. That is being forced back into things you don't want to be doing. Okay. March 30, Neptune moves to Aries. So adding a little bit of extra addiction and obsession to that energy. So did you learn? Did you learn through the last 14-year cycle? Okay. And what did you need to be learning about? Things from the past, ancestral past, right? Have you integrated traumas and wounds from your past? Now, this is 14 years, but this starts a new cycle, and this is energy we haven't seen for 165 years, remember. So this could be a lot of ancestral nightmares that you have been asked to integrate. And we are being able to let go of those energies from the past, the genetic wounds that got passed on to us, genetic traumas, however you want to look at them, the families, traumas and punishments. So this shift really will bring change. It will incorporate emotional and spiritual health, and it will help us recognize that we are punishing people who are actually suffering. And I think this will mark a significant change in the way we start handling mental health care. And I think we will start seeing the introduction of more emotional and spiritual healthcare. April 12, the Chiron Cazimi in Aries. So Chiron went direct in Aries 29th of December. So this Cazimi on April 12th is really going to be shining a light on some of our deepest wounds. And it is really going to begin to show you how to see these wounds as doorways into your deepest medicine, into the deepest ways that you can heal, and into some really incredible empowerment and some really incredible ways to reach fulfillment. Now, these sorts of wounds, they are the ones that hold us back from being ourselves. It is the places that we have upheld beliefs that we were taught as children between the ages of 3 and 23. And it teaches us things that, you know, we shouldn't be ourselves. We should have fear around that. There should be something about us that we need to hide. And this Cazimi will really shine a light on whether or not you have looked into that wound and what still needs to be healed. Okay. May 17, the Uranus Cazimi in Taurus. Now, a Uranus Cazimi will heighten the innate need within us to be liberated, to feel free, to be in tune with this idea of forever evolving, and really being able to change our nature, change the nature of things around us. And this day will really offer us this energy to really tap into innovation within our ideas and to observe what it is within us that needs to change, what is in with our lives that need to change. And it will give us this opportunity to really explore future potentials that will free ourselves, free from restrictions, from things that are outdated, free our consciousness from old patterns, break those old patterns down, break those structures. And it really will be a portal of the future, of a future potential where we can really plant things. We can have these ideas in that present moment to plant things that bring the future to us. So anything that's been stuck in it, I've always done it this way, and where that has held you back will become very obvious at the start of May. May 24, Saturn enters Aries, gives us a little preview. So the master of time, the master of karma, entering a sign ruled by the god of war, and it's going to bring exactly what it says on the tin. This is karmic backhands. These are going to hit hard, and they are going to really look at rule structures that are from the old way that need to crumble. This is the preview of a new 30-year cycle, where those of you finishing your Saturn return, it's specifically, so those are the babes born May 21, 1993 to June 30, 1993, and June 28, 94 until April 7, 96. Get on your throne, babe. You've decided who you are. The adult version of you is now birthed. Okay? You are setting the pathway forward, and you will be in charge of the new rule structures. So, you're being activated. May 29, 2025, that's the Mercury Cazimi in Gemini. Big bright light coming in to show you how your thought patterns are holding you back, are moving you forward too fast, are stopping you from seeing a way forward. It's also going to really force you to see your shadow self. Okay, Gemini things. June 9th, that's when Jupiter's going to enter Cancer and bring with it emotional healing, that inner child nurturing, really asking you to grow your idea of family and to shift anything that doesn't align. This is really going to expand a lot of thoughts and feelings when it comes to how you want your family to feel around you. Just after that, June 24, the Jupiter Cazimi in Cancer will happen. So that will really bring the Jupiter in Cancer energy forward. So really a big potent alignment when it comes to opening up things like optimism, of dreaming into sort of vast futures. It's expanding your perspective. It is expanding your idea of spiritual wisdom, of higher wisdom. It wants you to learn more, right? It gives us this boundless energy that wants us to really call upon confidence and dream a new dream, right? It's very optimistic, positive energy, really bringing home what it is to be nurtured and loved by family. July 7th, Uranus enters Gemini. That's all I'm going to say. Bring the freaking chaos. Chaos will be coming with that one. September 1st, Saturn retrograde. You're going to jump back into Pisces. So Saturn return babies who've had a rest up until now. That's really be prepared to meet your new self, right? You're going back, doing a little kind of stock take on the things that worked, the things that didn't work, the little trial that you've had as the version of yourself since Saturn moved to Aries. You kind of can look back now and go, hang on a minute. Actually, I'm going to change this too. Okay. September 7th, eclipse in Pisces. Okay. So welcome to the upside down. What you thought you knew is about to show you what it really is. This will be really troublesome from some people. Okay. This is going to bring up addiction. This is going to bring up any sort of escapist risk kind of things that people do, particularly people who struggle with mental health. All right. This eclipse is going to bring with it some really heavy emotional and spiritual lessons. And if the aliens are going to show up, this is where they might show up. Okay. September 13, that will be the Mercury Cazimi in Virgo. So welcome to a big, bright, shining light on where you have been too critical of yourself and others, where you need to heal yourself, where you search for perfection and how that stops you from moving forward. September 21, the partial solar eclipse in Virgo. So we get both of these eclipses in this portal, and that really brings together the themes, the people, the ideas of things that are needing to shift within your spiritual and physical world. So this one is the physical component, and it will really hammer home the idea of how our shadow affects our physical world. Now, on October 22, we get Neptune entering back into Pisces. That's going to bring up all those wounds again. Again, addiction warning. November 6th, we go in the retrograde, going back into Taurus. Okay, Uranus going back into Taurus. So what did you learn from your period of Uranus in Gemini? And how can you use that to shift stubborn energy in relation to family, in relation to how you make your money, and in relation to your overall stubbornness? November 20 brings that Mercury Cazimi into Scorpio. So big hello to the sun shining its big bright light on where you have shame around communication, where you hide your dark spicy truth, and why clarity on accepting those things will propel you forward. Okay, so we've made it all the way to November 2025. As always, December will bring with it some massive shifts, as it always does. As we culminate the energy, we move into Capricorn season, where we have to start holding our light in the dark, and we start all over again. Okay, so a massive, huge transitionary year of chaos, of unexpected things showing up, and of really being open and empowered and being given a desire to evolve individually and collectively, to truly understand that connecting to our authentic self is where power truly comes from to manifest the lives that we want. I highly advise during the Pisces Virgo nodal axis that you understand the map of your psyche. It will be of great importance as you are propelled forward into a spiritual awareness journey where shadow and the parts of you that hide in emotional and spiritual darkness really get shown to you in a very physical and 3D way that you will feel in your body. Somebody like me who can read the map of your psyche, who can give you a natal chart, who can look at your birth chart, can really help you understand where these things are going to show up in your life, and when they do show up, what you can be focused on in order to make the most of the energy, to heal, to evolve, and to come up with revolutionary ideas that will not only change your life, but also other people's lives. Some of us are here to only evolve individually, and that will bring a domino effect to the rest of the world. Some of you are here to bring collective change, and you are being activated to do so. If you have a Neptune in Aquarius, you are certainly being activated to do so. If you have a North Node in Aquarius, you are also being activated to do so. You have a bigger purpose here. And someone like me who can read that sort of map, who can translate it to you, we can fast track your ability to gain knowledge and wisdom in your purpose and your higher self. So come and find me, come and book a session with me, and let's fast track this incredible, what's going to feel like time doesn't exist. Let's fast track the journey that you can be on. And let me tell you right now, we might be stuck right now. We might feel slow right now with Mars retrograde in Cancer. But when that ends in February, it is forward motion from there. So use that time to get to know yourself, to nurture yourself, to find stability in all of the places that you require it, to feel safe, to make change. Because the chaos is coming. And those of us that have been doing the work of self-awareness, of taking responsibility for who we are, of how we show up, of protecting others from our own emotional triggers, those of us who have been doing that, this is going to be a significant transitionary journey in uncovering your inner power, your inner strength, and every ability that you have to not fear being who you are. So, as always, never be afraid to walk into the shadow. There are guides that can help you do that. As always, stay weird. Big love.